All right, guys. I wanted to make this video for all of the Trump haters and the people who aren't giving Trump any support on my timeline. In my real life, too, as well. I wanted to make the video so I could send them to you to say, shut up. But people keep asking me, man, what's up with your boy? Gas prices is skyrocketing, man. What's up with your boy? He done got the Venezuela dude. I thought oil prices was gonna drop. You gotta let him cook. This is how you know that people respect Trump more than they say. Because any other president, they would have just been like, oh, he ain't doing, he ain't said whatever. Like Obama didn't do shit. He said he's gonna do maybe one or two things. But Trump said he's gonna do it just like last time. And it's been less than a year and people are already like, oh my God, we can't afford gas. What the is going on? I can't believe it. You gotta let my man's cook. He's trying to help smooth things over with the Hormuz Strait. That's where most of our oil's coming from. He can't help it that terrorists keep attacking the shit and keep making the price of oil skyrocket. That's out of his control. There's nothing he can do about that. But what he can do is try to control it, try to stabilize the region, which is trying to do, try to call for ceasefires, try to stop these bombers and these terrorists from shooting up and trying to steal all this damn precious mineral oils, trying to stabilize these regions so that they can have an actual economy, so that they don't have to steal and kill to get all of this stuff. That being said, Trump is one person. This is one administration. This is 4 years. You know, he did some amazing stuff in the last 4 years that he ran for president, like that he was president. He dropped, man, gas where I'm at was almost $1 again. It was the lowest I've seen. It was like 2.10, right? It was almost in the dollar ranges, which is really good. And I'm hoping that he can do the same. Now, for the gun community, gun world, he's doing some really good stuff with ATF. ATF just reversed the pistol brace rule completely. Just disbanded. They're changing the 4473 to where you could probably buy guns online, get them shipped straight to your house, which is kind of like what they were already doing with suppressors. Suppressors, they're kind of already falling back on that. They might just drop the NFA completely. That would be crazy. Which it's like they're already kind of doing, but they still have the registry. They don't call it a registry, but they call it, it's a registry. They already are putting into drop notifying your CLEO, your chief law enforcement officer, when you buy an NFA item. They're trying to drop when you travel out of state, you don't have to let them know when you're taking NFA items, which that's dumb. They're doing it as long as you don't travel out of state longer than a year, and if it's more than a year, you gotta let them know. Which these rules never made no sense. They even have proof, like documentation and statistics, saying that there were no criminals found using these laws. Like, criminals are gonna break laws. Who would have thought? It's in the name criminal. They are gonna do crime. Who would have thought? And that brings me back to the point of criminals being criminals. How do we fight crime? Do we up our ICE agents and get them reinforced and keep with that? Because they're doing a pretty good job getting the criminals back to their countries. But what are they doing when they go back to their countries? They're robbing the Hormuz Strait. They're torturing and murdering and pillaging their cities, which is why their country sent them over here. They were sending them to the U.S. like, hey, we can't use you no more. We can't even keep you in our prison systems because it's so crowded. See if you can make a life for yourself in the United States. There are people on record saying that about these criminals in our country. Like, but people are thinking that we're harassing, Hispanics, and no, it's more than just Hispanics. There's Asians, Africans, Indians, Arabs. All of these people are, we're going after the violent criminals and the fraudsters. Are y'all not seeing what Nick is uncovering with the fraud? I'm pretty sure there's a frauded daycare right up the street from my house. I've never seen a car in this parking lot, but it's still open. Like, I don't know if it's Somali ran or whatever, but if you just look up Nick's videos, you'll see how much fraud is like spreading and compromising the structure of these cities and states. Like, these people are getting away with, at this point, billions that they've already found defrauded, which is why Trump is saying, like, hey, we got to get this money back to the American people. That being said, why when I filed my taxes this year, I'm getting audited again, and I have to wait for this letter to come basically proving that I am myself? That's kind of crazy. Like, I've always been me. What the hell? Well, you know why? The same reason why all of the other stuff, fraud and illegal immigrants getting taxes. Yeah, you heard me right. Illegal immigrants who don't pay taxes getting taxes and tax benefits back. Crazy, right? This is the perfect time to arm up. We don't know when the protests are going to happen again. I theorize in another 3 years, but you want to be ready when they do. You never know when stuff is going to ramp up. You never know, because they keep trying to kill him. JD Vance actually visited my city not too long ago, and they was like, yeah, I can't believe they blocked off all of the traffic for him to come to the city. I can't believe this. Why wouldn't they? They keep trying to kill him. It's for his safety. Like, he's the president of the United States. They do that for celebrities who aren't even worth as much as they're paying their security. Why wouldn't they do that for the president of the United States or the vice president of the United States? These are the two people that are running the legislative branch. Why do people have this misconception that the president runs the United States? He doesn't. He just signs bills into law. He can propose anything, but it still has to go through the Congress and Senate. The only time it doesn't is if it's like an act of war or some type of seeking out fugitives, like we've seen in Venezuela. Like, there was no act of Congress or Senate needed for that. But as far as affecting the American people, he can say anything. He can say, we're going to drop the NFA tomorrow. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. He has to put somebody into power that can do that, and that can reasonably coerce Congress into passing that, and then the Senate, then going back to Congress, and then the president can sign it into law. Either that, or elect enough Supreme Court justices where they can just look at a case and then overturn it, and that'll be the law of the land. Because the Supreme Court has more authority over Congress and Senate, because it takes less time for them to get something in order, but it takes them longer to see cases. Like, I could have proposed a bill today, and it'll probably be in effect by like September. But if the Supreme Court takes up a case today, they probably won't make a ruling on it for like a year. So it all depends. But you guys need to learn your civics. The president of the United States does not control the world. He doesn't control the United States. He doesn't. He just doesn't. He controls one branch. There's a legislative, judicial, and executive. He controls one of those branches. The judicial leaders are the Supreme Court. The legislative leaders are the Congress and the Senate. And the executive branch is led by the President of the United States. So guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Before I leave, isn't it kind of crazy that they keep trying to preach that, oh, President Trump is Hitler, and because he's Hitler, they need to kill him, right? Now, granted, I do think Hitler needed to die because Hitler killed millions. How many has President Trump killed? How many has President Trump ordered to be killed? Innocent civilians. How many did Hitler kill? So is Donald Trump Hitler? Ask yourself these questions. I just want to get you to ask yourself these questions. Like, if you're going to call him something, if you're going to call him a dictator, no kings, right? Unless it's Venezuela, because they're allowed to have king. He stopped being president in 2020, and it's 2026, and he was still in office before we snatched him up. That's a real dictator. He was a real dictator. And Trump ended that regime. Nobody from Venezuela is crying, saying, oh my God, bring Maduro back. Have you noticed that? Nobody from Venezuela is crying, saying, bring Maduro back. Nobody. Not a single person from Venezuela is saying, bring him back. No. But we are. American citizens who don't know nothing about Venezuela. Never even been there. don't know that their currency is worthless because of all the government corruption and all the inflation of their dollar bill. When I was in high school, I read that in Venezuela, it takes $50,000 for one tank of gas. Like 1 gallon of gas, not one tank, just one tank, like 1 gallon of gas, $50,000. That's how inflated their money is. It's so worthless, they just throw dollar bills around like it's nothing, like it's a strip club. Then you're rich. But they're not. Their money's worthless. That's why there's a lot of YouTubers going to these countries saying, oh, I went there with $20 and I'm rich. Yeah, because there's money. Their money means nothing. Their money is worthless. If people hate America so much, go live in that country, but don't take your US dollars. Go make their money, right? But they won't do that because America has spoiled these people so much that they hate it. They hate how spoiled they are. And that's what really makes no sense to me. Like, go be spoiled somewhere else, bro. Like, come on, man. Y'all know how spoiled y'all are. That's why y'all don't want to leave, right? If y'all think it's so good over there, go over there. See how that happens. I just read this article. This girl, liberal girl, of course, liberal woman, went to the Middle East and was like, yeah, well, they hate gay people over here. I'm going to go to the Middle East. She was beheaded. Unfortunately, rest in peace to her. But, you know, she learned that lesson the hard way. Like, other countries don't tolerate what we do. We have the freedom to hate ourselves. America's #1 pastime is hating itself. #1, by far. And that's really sad for me to see and sad for me to say, but it's true. It's true. But please stop comparing Trump to Hitler because he's not a dictator. He's a president who was duly elected. Fairly elected. You notice nobody said he cheated this time because everybody voted for him. Everybody was sick of Joe and Kamala. Kamala was trying to prove how black she was rather than what she's going to do to help our economy. And then she started literally just taking what Trump said. And it didn't work. And people said, oh, they hate him because they're racist, blah, blah, blah. If Trump was so racist, why did he give everybody stimulus checks? He could have just gave it to white people. He could have just not gave it to nobody at all. I think stimulus checks was a part of reparations. That's a different video. So that's a different story for a different video. But let me know what you guys think about the current climate of what's going on. They're trying to kill the president. Erika Kirk being threatened on a daily basis and witnessing and almost shooting again. It's crazy. Candace Owens in the news about everything. And then in religious news, we have God Logic making people run from him in debates and getting copyright strikes for just obliterating people in debates. Uthman ran from him. Muhammad Hijab got destroyed, demolished in the debate. So he copyright struck the video so that he couldn't get no more views on it. And so the people had to watch it on his channel. But it looks like it's being reversed and he's going to get more views on it. And everybody's just seeing how much of the cowards these Muslims are. As well as Hebrew Israelites who are coming at me in my comment section. And I'm just telling them verses, Galatians 3:8. Clearly says, Acts 28:28 says Gentiles will be saved. Gentiles will receive salvation. Titus 3:9 says, do not focus on genealogies for it is vain and it brings nothing. It brings nothing. Focusing on your genealogy brings nothing. So what you're black, so what you're white, so what you're a quote unquote, a real Jew, you're a real Israelite. Is that going to save your soul? No. If you read Galatians 3:9, it clearly says that your works will not save your soul, that only faith in Jesus Christ will. Simple. But let me know what y'all think about this stuff in the comments down below. This is just everything that's going on today in the news and stuff like that. I'm just reporting it. This is Free Thoughts. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Stay tuned for more. And y'all gotta give Trump more time to cook, man. All right, y'all. Peace.